So otherwise the time will go. One needs to make use of this body adequately. Okay? Now there is another thing which is also very important. What is the other purpose of this body? So though my teacher was teaching in the US, and there was a very nice musician, right? So he's a good musician. He had studied with Pandit Jasraj, and pretty nice. He was performing. So one day he tells me, why should I be interested in moksha? I love coming here. I love singing. I love meeting people and all that. Moksha means what? No coming back. Everything is over. What's the fun in that? I really want to come back and I want to participate and things like that. So this is something that you need to know. What exactly? Why is moksha attractive in the first place?
Yeah,
is it attractive?
By
Why?
Front of you at that moment.
See, so that's what he was a very sweet man. So I told him, in the meantime, you're thinking you're enjoying. In the meantime, you had 3 divorces, and it's true. So that means what? You didn't get along with anybody who was around you. You're in your own masti. You didn't look after your kids. So that means you created so much mess in this life. But what? He's found a hook. What is that hook? His music, which elevates him. And then he thinks, my life is so much fun. So this is what we all do, right? To convince ourselves, what we do, we find a hook. And that hook enables us to manage the rest. And to kind of forget about everything else, right? And we deceive ourselves as to we are enjoying life, right? So this is what we have to understand. Then I said, you may think you are enjoying life, but neither you have really enjoyed life, because if you really had enjoyed life, or you would not have had fights divorce means you have to fight. You have to have major problems, right?
But I guess it's a state of mind. Huh?
Sorry?
When you're in the down and downs, then you really feel like, what is it like?
Yeah.
Because again, a state of mind. We all go through these
That's
ups
true.
and downs.
And also, yes, he's found a hook which kind of elevates his thinking. But most of the time, then what happens? Then he gets up at 11 because he got it. So then life is all a mess. But you don't see it because you have one hook which elevates you. So this is not God. It's like seeing what life is about. Okay. Now there is a second thing that a lot of people. This is a very common question that I have asked, because in some spiritual circles they say that even if you are so-called enlightened, you are a wise person, you choose not to go out of birth and death. You come back. Why do you come back? Because you now are wanting to help others. So that means there is something called a wise person choosing not to be freed from the cycles of birth and death, because this wise person feels that I have the responsibility of helping others to come out of their ignorance. Now, this is also not Vedic. This is not Vedic. Why is it not Vedic? You may think I'm coming to save the world. At any given point in time, how many people are interested in this knowledge today? How many people? The whole world population of 13 billion. What is the world population? 13 billion. If you count in terms of percentage, it's not even 1%. So give up this illusion of saving the world. Nobody saves the world. Even Lord Krishna could not change Duryodhana. He was an avatar. You are not here to save the world. You are here to do your job. While you are in this body and mind, what do you need to do? Whatever you think that you can contribute to this world, it's fine. But it's not like you have to take on your shoulder the responsibility of saving the world. And within the world, see, all this you have to be absolutely clear. Within the world, there is a provision for the knowledge to pass on. This is why we have this amazing Guru Shishya Parampara. Guru Shishya Parampara means Guru has imparted the knowledge. Now, who takes over? The Shishya becomes the Guru. You don't need Einstein to learn time and space is relative. He's done his job. Anybody can go to university, can learn it properly, and can teach what he says. It's not on the shoulder of one person, Einstein. No. So this is where that over-assuming responsibility, thinking that I want to come back and I want to save the world, and as though the world depends upon me for savior, and there is no other teacher like me. There is no such thing. This is why when in the spiritual tradition, when there is no Ishvara, they have these kind of thinkings. In the spiritual tradition, in Vedic spiritual tradition, you have Ishvara. So the whole the whole universe, you don't operate the universe. What operates the universe? All knowledge and all power, which is Ishvara. Within this creation, when you are given the body and mind, that body and mind, by definition, is what? Limited. And it will go through all these problems. So what is your job while you are alive? To first remove your ignorance so that you can live to the best of your ability. You don't make a mess in this world, but your participation is of a good quality.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What is wrong when I'm an expert, I want to be a sattvic sadhu or something? I'm not saying that I want to come and save the world, but I would like to help the world.
See, the thing is that you would like to help. See, once you come to know your reality, what is your reality? Are you this small little individual? No. You are no longer a small individual. You are the whole. You are that Satchidananda. Then you don't need to come back to the world anymore. So that means till the ignorance goes completely, you will come back. It's not up to you. Please understand. It's according to Ishvara's laws. It is Ishvara's laws. It's not, you don't become Ishvara. This is the problem that many spiritual people, if you start thinking, I decide whether I'm born or not, you don't decide. You can only decide to what? How you want to live your life, to which ignorance you want to remove, and how you prepare yourself for removing that ignorance. And for that also you need participation. You need a teacher, and then what is a probability that you'll meet the right teacher? In this 13 billion people, you need to meet that one person who knows and is not fooling you with all kinds of stories, spiritual stories. What is, you need Ishvara. How are you going? Are you going to go and search? What, with a torch and look for a guru? How? At any step in your life, you need Ishvara. If you start thinking, I'm going to come back and I'm going to save the world and I am going to be this person. Hey, whether you are sattvic or not, who decides? You can only work for it. You don't ultimately, there are these laws. Laws are what? Numerous laws which are all interacting, and the laws have not a time period of 50, 100, 150 years. They are there for millennia. This false sense of ownership, thinking that I can decide this, I can decide. You can do things, and the universe, which is in form of Ishvara, will give you the result for it. So that means if you remove your ignorance of the true nature of yourself, then you are that existence awareness which is limitless. There is no question of you coming back as an individual. Individual means we all come with ignorance. What? Ignorance about our true nature. So this is why our eye sense, which is a fleeting eye sense, seems like a permanent entity. My whole definition of myself is this changing eye. And within that I struggle, and I struggle for my fulfillment. And in fact, I want this and I want that, and things don't happen, so my eye sense changes. I'm unhappy, then I'm struggling again. This is what a work of avidya. So that means what you can do is remove this avidya. What is the result of removing that avidya is free from birth and death. You're free from birth and death forever. Why? Because imagine a limitless, you who are limitless, as a result of ignorance, you are thinking I am this individual, and you're interacting with the world as one individual. And through that interaction, you want fulfillment. Impossible. Why? Because the basis of interaction is I'm a small individual. This itself is fraught with ignorance. What is your true nature? You're limitless. So that means even if you continue to interact with the world, saying that I want to save the world, that I want to help others, hey, how much are you going to help others? Tell me. 13 billion people, even Bill Gates, how many people he touches with all the wealth that he has? How many people? There's a nice documentary on Netflix. It's very interesting. So that is nice because it's called some Bill Gates something, right? I don't know. You just type Bill Gates. It's about Bill Gates Foundation, I think. It's a nice story. It's a nice story about, so he has done a lot of work with HIV and all that. Now it's a passe because nobody talks about HIV. His latest project is, one day in that documentary they show that Melinda Gates, she was reading a newspaper and she read that in some country in Africa, some kid died of diarrhea. And that, you can read it as a news item and you can say, oh, poor guy and all. But now Melinda Gates, she's an evolved lady. So she says, my God, I had kids, they had diarrhea. All you have to do is to what? It's not a big deal. Just go to a pharmacy and take that one little tablet and
Imodium.
yeah, and they are free from diarrhea, right? It's a one-day cure. How is it that in Africa somebody is dying of it? This is a human mind, clever mind, noble mind. Because you are thinking about, hey, how come? This is not a difficult problem to solve. Then she started looking into it. And she went there and she says, what? The problem was that all the human waste was coming to the river, local river. That river is a source of water supply. So that means, imagine everybody's excretion and everything is in that water, and with no proper purification, this becomes a drinking water. So that means now the whole thing is, how do you, first of all, now it's a big problem. It's not a small problem that you can solve like this, right? Because where is the human waste going to go? You need to find a place where it goes. Secondly, whatever that human waste is created, you need to have a treatment so that it becomes pure, right? So this small problem, the solution is what? Huge. Now, so he thought he's Bill Gates. So what he did is, he identified this problem. He knew he himself cannot solve this problem. It's a big problem. So he wrote to all these Ivy League universities and he's saying that I have this problem. Can you give me a solution? Because it requires a lot of thinking, requires a lot of technology, requires a lot of coordination, resources, everything. He says, not one university replied to him. So that means our whole thing of change, even a small thing of what, the child, dying of diarrhea. You think it's a simple problem. It requires huge. And what is Bill Gates, who's the richest man on this world, he's struggling to solve this problem. So because he's Bill Gates, what he did is a nice documentary. So he hired all these very bright people, scientists, with his own money because he didn't hear from anybody else. And they came up with a flushing system that while you flush the waste, then in that process, the water gets purified. Then he asks, how much is this system costing for one toilet? $50,000. Again, he says,
Not feasible.
not possible. So that means problems with it now after I don't know how many years, he's found one system and now it is implemented in one country. So that means this whole vision that we have of benefiting, my presence will benefiting, you have to put it in perspective. While you are alive, you have to do it. That's a very wonderful thing to do. But if you begin to think that I want to be this person who will save the world, forget it. Because it is the world is so enormous and it requires so many people. So that means this is again, so you leave it within Ishvara's order. But within Ishvara's order, you still have to do what you have to do. So this is why. And this will go on naturally till you don't have this knowledge. The universe will make sure that until you are totally sattvic, you will not have this knowledge. This knowledge is the biggest secret. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna calls it what? Rajaguhyam. Rajaguhyam means it's the biggest secret. Every other secret remains a secret till it is told. Once it is told, it is no longer a secret. This you can be taught again and again and again. You are not this small individual, you are the whole. Until your mind is not totally sattvic, you will not get it. You can't decide today I want to get it. Can anybody decide? Nobody can decide. When that ignorance will be lifted, nobody knows. So that means even for your ignorance to go, you need Ishvara's participation. Ishvara's participation through so many people, right? Ishvara is not going to come down and through so many people. So therefore, yes, your whole aim is true, is to become sattvic. That's wonderful, Raji. And as you become more and more sattvic, you will begin to influence some people. Because being sattvic is also being expansive. And that's also wonderful. But till when? Till you have the knowledge. And once the knowledge is there, there is no longer any need for you to come back as a small human being. Why? Because your identity has changed once and for all from this small entity to this huge reality. That reality within itself has a provision to organize the world. It doesn't need your help. The world has been continuing for millennia. And were you there around? No. And it managed very well. All the events of the world, it managed very well without our presence. So that means that job we have to leave to Ishvara. The enormity of this Ishvara. This is why this whole knowledge, you need a proper relationship. Proper relationship with Ishvara means you are working within this intelligent universe. It doesn't need your help. At the same time, while you're here, you have to do your best.
So there's a certain contradiction in that. I was just going to say that there's a certain contradiction because you are aware that you are limitless and you have, that you have all the avenues available to do your best. But at the same time, you have to be aware that there is
much bigger
there's
entity.
a bigger picture.
There's a
There's
much
a
bigger
certain
picture within which you operate. And within this bigger picture, that Ishvara also has the capacity to make you see your true nature.
Exactly.
That is, It's not a contradiction, but it
it's
is.
a balance. It's a balance. Sorry,
So that means, so either you can say, I am the one who is wanting knowledge. I am the one who is going to become sattvic. Even you're becoming sattvic. Can you turn around your brain like that and say, from tomorrow onwards I'll be sattvic? No. you can try really hard and you're still stuck with your habits. You're still stuck with your vision. It's not, you can just kind of, this is why again and again and again and again we listen to values, again and again we listen to this knowledge. Slowly, slowly, slowly we prepare ourselves. This is how it is. And till the time that we haven't totally prepared, this knowledge will remain our secret.
So we tell we have it, but we don't use it.
You don't, exactly.
You know it,
right?
You still do
You still go for back into your previous habits. We are struggling human being. Don't assume that you are in control. You are not in control of anything. Actually, really speaking, you are not in control. So there is this Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is a beautiful book. Bhagavatam started because Parikshit came to Sanat Kumara, Vyasa's son. And he says, you teach me this knowledge because I have a curse and I have only 1 week to live. In this, I want to have this knowledge. Sanat Kumara tells Parikshit, he says, at least you know you will live for 7 days. I don't even know what will happen to me next minute. This is the truth. This is the truth. So that means, this won't mean that I am the one. That is the first thing that we need to actually begin to drop and see within the enormity of this Ishvara within which we all operate. And within that, the only thing that you can do is what? You've come with series of layers and layers and layers and layers of ignorance. We can slowly, slowly remove it. Remove it, and it requires grace of Ishvara. And when we have removed it, it's not me who decides. It is Ishvara's order which decides. This is why within Ishvara's order there is also a provision of avatara. Well, who is an avatara? Like Krishna. Krishna is presented as avatara. Who is an avatara? When the mess is too much, it needs to be re-established. So how normally it can be re-established with the participation of people, but there are times when it becomes impossible. So then what comes after? That is Ishvara in that given form in order to keep the balance. It's not your prerogative. And in fact, once you come to know, you are one with Ishvara. This knowledge is not your Satchidananda Atma. This knowledge is Tattvamasi. What is Tattvamasi? Your reality. And Ishvara's reality is